businesses that would have been affected. So we're very grateful that those funds are back. And again, thanks to our Commissioner of Education, our FADs, and everyone, every advocacy group out there that has been working to ensure that we remain solvent for the upcoming year.
And you can just comment on Volusia, but are you hearing that's also benefiting other school districts, or you guys just did great advocating where you were to get
that was nationwide.
Okay.
Nationwide, yeah. Wow. So we're very excited for the entire nation.
Yeah.
Some big impacts there to that the funding being unfrozen at this point. Well, we appreciate you joining us here on Florida Live this afternoon. We are here weekdays at 2 o'clock here live on Fox Local and on YouTube, and appreciate you joining us today. I want to let you know one other thing we are monitoring this afternoon, and that is the Lawrence Doherty trial. Jury selection began this morning in that trial going on in Orange County inside the courthouse there. Doherty is charged with a second-degree murder. He's accused of killing a former Orlando Magic player, Adrian Payne, back in May of 2022. There was a shooting outside of a townhome while Payne was shot while, according to investigators, he was trying to break up a domestic dispute. Now, Doherty, who is on trial here, is claiming self-defense under Florida's stand your ground law. So a lot of interesting elements to that one that we will be watching. Again, jury selection beginning this morning, and we'll have updates from the courtroom as that trial moves ahead. Thanks for joining us on Florida Live. As we wrap up here, I will leave you with a live look at
You're watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Well, good afternoon to you and welcome into Fox 35 News Plus. I'm Garrett Wymer, and thanks for joining us on this Monday afternoon live on Fox Local and on YouTube. We are tracking breaking news this afternoon here on Fox 35 News Plus as we're learning more about a one-week-old baby found alone in the driveway of a home in Orlando. The baby found shortly after 7 o'clock this morning on Lido Street near Cimarron Boulevard and Curry Ford Road. We are told that the baby was, again, strapped in a car seat in the driveway there, taken to the hospital. We're told that the baby, thankfully, was okay, in good health, but Orlando police are trying to identify and find the parent or guardian of that baby. We are following up on this story. Fox 35's Kelsey Cairn trying to learn more. And we'll have an update coming up later. It is 4 o'clock, and that means it's time for today's Top 4 at 4, where we break down 4 of the big stories that we're tracking this afternoon in the Fox 35 newsroom. And joining me for today's Top 4 at 4 is Fox 35 news anchor John Brown. And John, good to see you.
And happy Monday to you. Start with this one. A gunman opened fire early today outside the largest casino in Reno, Nevada. It killed 2 people and injured at least 3 others before that person was taken into custody. Happened at the Grand Sierra Resort, which is a popular summer tourist destination not too far from Lake Tahoe. The suspected shooter was one of those transported to a hospital, but the severity of the injuries at this point is unknown. That resort, by the way, if you've never been there, one of Reno's most prominent venues. They host concerts there, sporting events, even had a campaign rally by Donald Trump there before the 2024 election. So, and this time of year, it's the busiest time of year for those guys, but not much else about this investigation at this point from what we're hearing.
Yeah, still a lot of questions about that. I do believe there is an update from officials expected at 6 p.m. our time, so in a couple of hours. Hopefully have some more information, some more answers about what happened there.
All right. Talk about the heat. It's nasty outside, guys. Boy, dripping just walking between the car and the business. Heat advisory still in place for Central Florida until 7 o'clock today, and we're not done yet. As a matter of fact, it's going to be a few days like this. This, by the way, could be the hottest day of the summer with many areas. Temperatures up in the upper 90s, heat indices up around 112 to 115. The only exception being near the coast. Temperatures closer to 90, but that's still well above average. But you also have the beach out there, which is good. And then tomorrow, another Fox 35 weather impact day, near record high temps once again. And same situation, mid to upper 90s, heat indices up around 110. We'll have much more on the forecast coming up in just a matter of minutes. But here at our station, all of a sudden it's pouring rain.
Yeah, here's a live
top,
look
right?
from our tower cam. You can't even see anything.
That's it?
That's it. That's
oh, my
it.
gosh.
Yeah, it's coming down pretty good right now.
And some areas, I mean, they're just blazing. It's, it's hot. We're all used to the heat. But today's different, man. It is brutal out there.
Yeah.
My daughter's lifeguarding today, and she's like, there's nobody in the pool because it's so hot. Nobody wants to come out. The pavement's too hot to even get into the pool. So it's so hot, you can't even go swim.
Too hot to swim, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's also crazy that, yesterday Tampa hit 100 degrees for the first time.
It's funny because people up north don't realize that. We rarely hit 100 here.
Yeah.
It's like unheard of practically. It's in Tampa, first time ever. Because up there, I remember on the news we talk about the record high for this date was 111. We never, ever talk about it being over 100 here. So rare.
Yeah.
So shocking for a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what this rain shower does to the humidity.
Right. Man, nastier outside. All right, 6 people, including 5 children, had to be taken to the hospital today after a sailboat sank in Biscayne Bay. That's just off Miami Beach. The Miami Yacht Club confirmed the vessel was part of the Miami Youth Sailing Foundation, said it's working closely with authorities as the investigation continues. According to FWC, the sailboat appeared to have been struck by a barge. Again, 3 children taken to the hospital, and last we heard, 2 children have now died there at Jackson Memorial. According to the officials, all victims between the ages of 8 and 12 years old out there in the bay. And that's not too far from where we also had that other crash. Remember the young lady who was hit by that boat going home? You would think wide open waters like this, it's not like a small little river. It's wide open out there. You always wonder how these things get so close to each other there.
Yeah, it's just so sad. You mentioned the Miami Yacht Club, talking about they were participants in the Miami Youth Sailing Foundation. You talk about the ages of these kids, and it's just tragic. It sounds like what happened there.
One of those you never expect. Send your kids off to sailing school. Next thing you know, it's a story like this. All right, let's talk about Deion Sanders here in just a minute. Colorado head coach Deion Sanders disclosed today he was diagnosed with an aggressive form of bladder cancer, but he said the surgery there, his oncology surgeon was there right there with him, considered him cured. So he plans to coach. Look at the overalls. I love it. He shows up at his first press conference like that. He's the best. The director of oncology said Sanders had his bladder removed as a part of the surgical plan. But more amazing is how they fixed this, okay? Sanders is now 58. He spoke on the eve of fall camp as he enters his 3rd season overseeing the Buffaloes. He brought the medical team to discuss the diagnosis. They took his intestines, reconstructed it to function as a bladder. That's very, very smart, right? I don't know how you do that, but those doctors are brilliant there. So, again, he's had health issues in the past. We all know that he lost some toes, and that caused him to hobble. He even had a cane for a while. So, again, but he's back. Look at him. He's ready to go, got the cowboy hat on, bib overalls, and ready for the season to start tomorrow after beating cancer. They said it's gone. They took care of it, but it's aggressive. This one was nasty. Came on in quick, he said.
Yeah, and didn't, it sounded like from what he said at that news conference that there weren't really a whole lot of great options.
Right.
So they, removed the bladder and like you said, talk about the kind of the solution to that. But he said one interesting soundbite he had earlier was when he said reason he's not able to say, even with all of this that he's going through, why me?
I never once through this whole journey said, God, why me? Because I would have to say, God, why being you sit me up here in front of these wonderful people? Why you give me the position of the head football coach of the prestigious university? Why you allow me to father 5 wonderful kids? Why you give me these relationships with these wonderful people? Why me, Lord? that I have some of the things that I have. I can never say that. I can never say the other side because I'm going to have to ask that. I said, Lord, whatever it is that you're doing, let me know what it is so I could expedite the process. Because I know you got me. I've seen you have my back. I've seen you there in the midst of storms when nobody knew I was going through hell. I've seen you guide me and bring me through. Lord, I would never say why me, but let me know what I need to do so that I can help. I never once through this whole journey said, God, why me?
You know, and this is something, you know, very personal for him to talk about, but I think something like this can go a long way in raising awareness and encouraging people to, you know, to go to their doctor. And that's one of the things that he said today was, you know, because you mentioned some of his previous health issues.
Yeah,
this tumor was found during just a routine kind of testing that he goes through every year because of some of those other health issues. So he was saying, I know, you know, if you're, you know, people don't like going to the doctor necessarily, don't like doing some of these things, but he said, you know, this is proof of why that's so important, because that's when they were able to find what could have been, you know, a very aggressive and fast-growing tumor.
I'll be curious to see how he does this year. You got the cancer diagnosis, but it's the first year that I think any of us can remember where he's coaching without one of his sons.
Yeah.
You know, it's different. It's a different vibe there. So I'll be curious to see how he does. He's healthy again, and he may have the same fire, but you know, after all these years of having your boys there, you know, that's why I think he's going to the NFL at some point. Right? That's got to be, right? Because now it's just a bunch of college kids. His boys are gone. So I'll be curious to see how that turns out this year.
Going to be interesting to see.
It's good to have him back.
He did say one thing that you'll see on the sideline. You might see a porta potty on the sideline because he said,
"Be like I used to be."
Yeah, and he said that's just the reality of it.
Is
something
great.
that he's you know, kind of adjusting
Well, it
to.
knocks down the stigma. I mean, so many people have issues, right? And they're like, wait, if Deion doesn't mind talking about he has an issue, then I don't mind, right?
Yeah,
so.
exactly right. So that is today's Top 4 at 4. John, we appreciate you joining us. We're going to take a quick break here on Fox 35 News Plus, but we will be right back after this.
You're watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Noah Berggren joins me now. And Noah, I know the big story is the heat, but we're dealing with pretty heavy rain and hearing some thunder right here above our studios.
Yeah, you know, Garrett, we are, but it's the only thunderstorm we have in the entire area.
Really?
So in the 30,000-foot perspective, the heat is the headline. For 98% of Central Florida, it's dry tonight, but for the slim minority right over western Seminole County. We've got a decent cooling downpour, in fact, but lots to discuss. So get right into it with you. The impact day continues for tonight, today through tonight, and we'll again for tomorrow for the excessive heat. We actually have an excessive heat watch now in effect for tomorrow, which is actually quite uncommon. The record high today in Orlando is 101 from 1936. So far, we've hit 98, possibly 99, as of the last advisory from the temperature sensor at MCO. So we're close. We'll see how it falls. Some places have actually hit 101 today. Clearmont has already hit 101 air temp. So we do have record heat in some locations already today. The last time Orlando hit 100 plus was in the middle of August in 2023. Orlando has hit 145 times before. Tampa before yesterday has not. Tampa yesterday hit 100 for the first time since 1890. So rain chances are going to go up over the next several days. 30% tomorrow, 50% Wednesday, back to the typical 60% Thursday into the weekend. Temperature right now is in fact 100 degrees in Clermont, 95 in Kissimmee, a rain-cooled 83 in Orlando, 99 in Gainesville, 98 in Ocala and the Villages, 97 in Palm Coast. Nice with the sea breeze, just 87 in Cocoa Beach, 94 in Daytona Beach, 97 in Leesburg, and 97 in Bithlo. Clearmont earlier hit 101. Here's the heat index right now. Cooled in Sanford at 91 from that thunderstorm, but 111 in Bithlo, St. Cloud, New Smyrna, 108 in Orlando, 109 in Clearmont, 108 Bushnell, 109 in Gainesville, and 108 in DeLand. Tampa earlier this afternoon hit 120. 120 officially in Tampa for the heat index. But you go to Ocala, and it's sizzling. Ocala may still reach 100 or 101 this afternoon. We've got about 2 hours left of heating to go, and that's because of a northeast wind in Ocala. Because when you get that northeast wind into parts of central Florida in summer, that wind for Ocala and Clermont, areas west of Orlando, is blowing mostly over land, which is why it heats more than the beaches, and also why yesterday Tampa was able to actually reach 100. Here's the heat index across the state: 106 in Fort Myers, 108 in Tallahassee, 108 Orlando and Ocala, 102 in West Palm in Miami currently. So it's hot, and here it is, a different perspective on the camera, and you can see the heat index right now. It changes second by second, minute by minute. Tampa's at 114 right now, 109 in Sarasota, 109 in Wauchula, 110 in Spring Hill, 111 DeLand, and 111 currently in St. Cloud. And the dew point tells the story. Upper 70s is tropical air. Anything above 80 is disgusting, to put it plainly. Tropical, gross, it's top of the chart. And the New Smyrna dew point is 81. That's about as humid as the atmosphere can physically get in parts of Florida. Here's the view from Lake Mary. We are tracking that thunderstorm. It's already pushed to the left of your screen, so west of Lake Mary currently. Now, again, in the grand scheme of things, notice there's really not a lot of rain, and there's not going to be for tonight. There's just one thunderstorm, which is actually a godsend in terms of the coolness it's going to provide towards Mount Dora and Maitland's, pushing out some rain-cooled air in all directions around it. It's already falling apart, but you see right over to Barry, a tremendous amount of lightning. The shower is pushing towards Apopka, Lockhart, Zowood, Mount Dora, Eustis. It's already letting up in Lake Mary. It's pretty much done in Lake Mary and Sanford, but we'll keep an eye on that through the remainder of the afternoon and evening, but it doesn't look like much. Here's the heat index across the southeast: 111 in Nashville, 108 in New Orleans, 117 in Charleston, 103 in Dallas, 106 in Kansas City, 104 in Lexington, Kentucky, 96 in Chicago, and 98 in Philly. Of note, also this evening, there will likely be a derecho through Minneapolis and the Twin Cities, meaning those are those hurricane-force wind-like big lines of storms that roar across the Midwest in summer. So that's some pretty big news nationally that will go on later this evening. That'll be in the weather news tomorrow nationally, probably of a lot of wind destruction later tonight on the northern end of this heat dome from North Dakota into Minnesota. So here's the 7-day here at Florida. Tomorrow is just as hot as today for the temperature, but the humidity makes it feel hotter than today's. The dew points will come up tomorrow. So air temps are near 99. That's the average across the area. Rain chance about 30% tomorrow. Today it was 20. And I'll notice the trend through the rest of the week. The temps are going to slide down and the rain chances slide up. We're going to be in August by this weekend, and a rain chance of about 60 to 70%, Garrett, is what would be considered average. So the last few days it's been mostly dry. There'll be a healthy coverage of afternoon storms starting again really on Wednesday and then going through the upcoming weekend. Look, it's still going to be hot. I think you'll find the humor in this with me as well, because obviously the question everyone's asking is, when's the heat going to break? If you call going from 99 to 94 a cool front, then
Yeah.
by all means. But there's just something about going from 99 to 94. I have a hard time saying it's cooling down. Maybe just less hot.
Yeah. When's the heat going to break? November?
Right. October or November. There's the answer. There's the sarcastic answer to the question. Yes.
Right. But in the meantime, we will enjoy the fact that we somehow luckily got in on the only shower that's out there right now. Maybe cool us down a little bit.
Somebody must have been doing a rain dance in Lake Mary, because it's the only spot it rained.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't me, but I'll take it. Fox
Me
35.
neither, but exactly.
Yeah. Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Noah Berggren. We appreciate you joining us.
Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back after this.
You're watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Welcome back into Fox 35 News Plus. I'm Garrett Wymer, and thanks for joining us on this Monday afternoon, live on Fox Local and on YouTube. We are near the end of the month of July, just a couple of days left, and the start of August, already looking toward the start of school. Teachers, you just have a few days. Students, you just have a couple of weeks. The summer is winding down very quickly. And earlier today, Fox 35's Esther Bauer spoke with the Volusia County Schools Superintendent about a number of topics, including the county earning an A grade for its schools, some new rules to keep students safe in the classroom, some new technology that they're using, and also about previously frozen funding and how that is going to help with the school district. So this is Esther's conversation, with part of it, with the superintendent from just a little bit ago today.
What do you think got you guys to the A, this previous school year, and what are you going to take with you to continue that moving forward?
That's such a very good question. I will tell you, we always knew that the potential existed here. We have some wonderful students and great staff and partners in our community that have been truly invested into this community, so I'm very thankful for that. But from our standpoint, you have to have a clear focus of where you're going. And once you have that clear focus, that vision, so to call, you have to ensure that all of the right support systems are in place. So one of the things that we really pride ourselves on, we wanted to ensure that our students were engaged in rigorous instruction on a daily basis and what we call standard aligned instruction. So that meant ensuring that as we were doing the planning for the execution of the material for our students, that it was standard aligned and that those experiences were also aligned to what the standard calls for. So that's where it all began. I will tell you that about 3 years ago, my first conversation with the team and with every shareholder, stakeholder here, is that we have to have a way of work and a common language that goes with that way of work. And we have worked diligently to institute that and to stay steadfast on those practices, you know, having those monitoring systems in place so that we can ensure that every student, every subgroup, that they're making adequate progress. So our team has been extremely focused, diligent, ensuring the supports are in the right places, monitoring, making timely adjustments, and celebrating along the way. And I think those are some of the ingredients that has led to the success of where we are currently.
And I know there's some new state laws, new policies you all will be putting out there. Talk about some of the safety and security measures that will be new, families will see.
Well, you know, 1470 is not necessarily new. It's about your lock gates and locked doors, so we will continue to implement those. But in Volusia County here, I believe, and we've always said this, that every student, every staff has the right to feel safe in their working or learning environment. It's a right, the way I see it. And that message is echoed all the way down. One of the things that we pride ourselves on is ensuring that we have many proactive measures in place. So, for example, like we have piloted this past year what we call the AI detection screening in 2 of our high schools. And for next year, it will be in every single one of our high schools. It's the CK2 system, and from what I understand, we're either the first or one of the first nationwide to implement that system in our schools. And it's real-time data that's provided to all of the key stakeholders that are monitoring the system to ensure that, once again, we are detecting if there is any weapons that it's being detected, you know, that full screening. We also have the Zero Eyes, which is pretty much a AI gun detection software that's implemented in our system. We have the K9 Maverick. I don't know if you've seen Maverick, but he's quite cute also and talented. So we have Maverick and, you know, that for weapon detection. And we have a zero tolerance policy. We are continuously visiting our schools to ensure that we're doing those safety and culture walks, providing feedbacks to our administrators and their staff so that we can make timely adjustments, but pretty much ensuring that whatever is stated on that safe school plan, it's implemented on a daily basis. So that's from a proactive standpoint. And when it comes to looking at consequences for actions or, you know, situations that are committed by students, being consistent, right? We also have a really good partnership with the 7th Circuit. And that's pretty much, you know, we work with 4 other counties, and it's about ensuring that we're streamlining how we're educating our students and our parents, but also how we're providing those supports, you know, that they may need in a proactive way so that we can combat some of these barriers that might be out there.
So there's a new Volusia County Sheriff's Office Behavioral Threat Unit that's ramping up, and that's focused on preventing school violence.
Correct.
How are you feeling just about that?
Extremely good. I will tell you that we have, in my 27 years of education, I've worked with several sheriffs and captains, and we probably are very lucky. I will say this to you, we are definitely lucky to be in the position in which we are with our sheriff in the partnership that we have. Very, very proactive in their thinking and their execution. And this unit now is what, as you know, we probably, or maybe not, that this past year we experienced about 900 Florida 45 threat. What is it called? Tips. Let me go back. Approximately 900. So here in Volusia County, every tip that's submitted that has to do with a juvenile, our sheriff's office will have a team of people ready to screen, go through that, review it, and ensure that we're acting accordingly. And so it's very proactive in terms of the approach that has been implemented.
Awesome. Now, we know a lot of schools in the county are under renovation, getting rebuilt. Talk about how that's just going to benefit the overall student situation. They're going to just thrive.
Well, you know what? I think our students, they deserve to be environments that are conducive for learning. We have 2 schools that we're going to be doing ribbon cutting this year for Stark Elementary, which, by the way, I have to tell you, they're one of the 2 schools in the entire state that has jumped from a D to an A.
Wow.
There's only 2 schools in the entire state that has been able to achieve that, and Stark Elementary is one of them. In addition to that, Stark, we're going to be having a magnet program there for STEM and arts. But with that said, they're receiving a brand new school, and I'm very excited for that community and those parents, and it's long overdue. Orange City Elementary is our second school that we're excited to give as a gift to the community, and thanks to our taxpayers who have really diligently supported that process.
And then we know there's federal funding freezes, and statewide we've seen, some funding cuts for public schools. How as a district are you guys kind of navigating that?
That's a very good question. So I will tell you that we were looking at approximately a little bit over $7 million. But thanks to the work that has been done at the state level through FADS, our Commissioner of Education, and everyone working together, we just received news that those funds will be unfrozen, so we could resume and continue with our operation as we were planning for beforehand. So all of the money that originally we heard that were entitlement funds, they will be unfrozen.
So $7 million deficit
for Volusia County alone.
For Volusia County is now back.
It's going to be back, yes.
I mean, talk about how that's huge, because the cuts you would have had to make would have been huge.
Absolutely. And you know what? It's again, you're looking at, your ESOL students, right? You're looking at Part A, which is Title I, professional development. You're looking at some other services that are really needed when you're looking at those wraparound services. So really it's in the area of wraparound services that would have been affected. So we're very grateful that those funds are back. And again, thanks to our Commissioner of Education, our FADS, and every advocacy group out there that has been working to ensure that we remain solvent for the upcoming year.
And you can just comment on Volusia, but are you hearing that's also benefiting other school districts, or you guys just did great advocating where you were to get
that was nationwide.
Okay.
Nationwide, yeah. Wow. So we're very excited for the entire nation.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly a big impact there for a lot of school districts around the state and around the country. We are going to take a quick break here on Fox 35 News Plus, but we'll be right back after this.
watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Welcome back into Fox 35 News Plus. I'm Garrett Wymer, and thanks for joining us on this Monday afternoon, live on Fox Local and on YouTube. The school board chair in Alachua County getting some attention for comments made on social media, controversial comments in the aftermath of the death of Hulk Hogan. Joining us live now via Zoom to talk about this is Fox 35's Randy Hildreth. And Randy, now deleted, and she's apologized for these comments, but these were social media comments made on Facebook.
Yes. So the school board chairman, Mrs. Sarah Rockwell, posted the comments recently from her personal Facebook page onto a friend's page, commenting about the recent death of WWE wrestler Hulk Hogan. Someone on social media saw them, took a screenshot of them, and started alerting people, and that is how the ball got rolling. And pretty soon it became a viral talker of a story, and she faced the repercussions of that on social media, with people blasting her for making those comments. And most recently, the Republican Party in Alachua County has voiced concerns about the comments, and they are asking that she step down from that position. They want her to resign, and they are also asking for school board leaders or the district to take some action against her for the comments that she made.
Can you talk to us a little bit about what those comments said?
Yeah, so the comments were about, one, in general, the death of Hulk Hogan, and part of her response to that was, with him passing, she posted that means that there is one less MAGA in the world. We know that Hulk Hogan endorsed President Trump when he was alive at the Republican National Convention last year, and so he was a staunch Trump supporter, and you can see some of the video of him showing his support for the Trump Vance team as they took on the race to the White House, and was a supporter of President Trump after he won the election, and made comments, as I mentioned, after Hulk Hogan died last week, that essentially celebrating his death, and Republican leaders in Alachua County have raised some concerns about that. As you mentioned, she deleted the post and has since posted on her school Facebook page an apology about those making those comments. I want to read a little bit of what she said. She says, "I deeply regret making that comment and have since removed it. I want to make it very clear that I never have and never will wish harm on anyone, regardless of whether we share political views." She went on to talk about working to earn back the trust of the community. I asked the chairman of the Republican Party in Alachua County if he had a chance to see the apology, what he felt about it. And he says that, he thought that she was sincere in the apology, but he felt like that, once the words are out there, especially in the position that you were in, he felt like the trust had been broken, and felt like despite the apology that there was still a scar, or I think he says a deep wound in the community based on what she said.
Any response from other members of the board or anything like that weighing in on this?
I did reach out to other school board leaders, also reached out to Ms. Rockwell. We reached out to the school district, have not received comment from anyone else. We do know that there is a school board meeting later on this week. I believe it's Thursday at 6 o'clock. And part of the conversation with Mr. Tim Martin, the chairman of the Republican Party in Alachua County, was about next steps. As I mentioned, they are asking that she resign and asking for school board leaders to take action against her. And he is encouraging people to show up at Thursday's meeting to get answers directly, since they will be face to face with school board members about how they plan to handle this situation, or if they plan to do anything with this situation.
It could be an interesting meeting coming up later this week then. Fox 35's Randy Hildreth, we appreciate you joining us this afternoon.
Thank you.
We are also learning more about a woman in Brevard County who says she was bitten multiple times by a dog on the beach in Brevard County. And joining us Live now along the beach in Brevard County is Fox 35's Stephanie Buffamonte. And Stephanie, we appreciate you joining us this afternoon here on Fox 35 News Plus. What can you tell us about this situation and what led up to it?
Yeah, so like you said, Garrett, we're actually at the beach right now. This is Canova Beach in Brevard County. I'll flip the camera here so you can see. You can see there's some dogs in the water over there. And this is a dog beach. The woman tells me she was walking along the beach line with her dog. She says her dog was on a leash, and then that leash was attached to her hip. And it's kind of hard to see, but there's someone in the distance over there with a dog on a leash walking in the water. So it is a common thing to see over here just because this is a dog beach. She said she was walking and a Great Dane that was not on a leash, she claims, came up to her. She tried to put her arm in front of her dog to put space in between the Great Dane and her dog. And that is when she says that dog bit her bit her arm and then scratched the top of her dog's head. So I just want to point out that you do have to have a leash on your dog if it is here at the dog beach. And there's a lot of signs that say that you do have to do that. And I'm walking toward one of those signs that will tell you that before you even enter the beach. But the woman was very upset that the dog, she claims, was not on a leash and that the owner didn't have control of the dog, according to her. We know that Brevard County is now investigating this case and says they have a bite investigator looking into her claims. And here's the sign I was talking about. Dog beach. Only leashed dogs are allowed on the beach. No unleashed dogs permitted. Violators can be reported to animal services.
Stephanie, we have some photos of the injuries. We did blur some of them a little bit here, but if you could kind of talk us through how this woman and and her dog are doing now.
Yes, so we went to speak with her today, went to her house. She said after this happened, which was Saturday night, she actually called an ambulance, and the ambulance came by and cleaned out the wound. She then went to urgent care. It seems like everything's okay, but the unedited photos, which we have blurred, you can see it's just a very deep cut on her hand and her arm. She got the brunt of it. Her dog actually was the one who just had a scratch on his head and the side of his face. But other than that, it seems like she had the most of the bite there.
So what does she want to see happen here?
She wanted to the reason why she spoke with us today is she wanted to get out the message of why it's important to listen to the rules, that if you bring your dog to the dog beach, that you should be putting your dog on a leash. And she wanted to make that clear because of what happened to her. And she just talked about how, whether or not you have a good dog or something can happen and you don't have control of your dog if it's not on a leash. So that was a big part of why she wanted to speak with us today.
All right, yeah, it can certainly be a frightening situation when there's a dog off a leash that charges you and your dog. Speaking as a dog owner myself, so it can certainly be a frightening situation. And glad that she and the dog are going to be okay. But we will certainly keep an eye on things and see where things go from here. So Fox 35's Stephanie Buffamonte, we appreciate you joining us this afternoon.
Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Welcome back into Fox 35 News Plus. Give you a live look toward the Kennedy Space Center from our Launch Credit Union camera in Brevard County. We are following up today and learning more about the potential impacts of budget cuts and layoffs at NASA. We've learned that about 20% of permanent NASA employees have accepted a voluntary buyout as a part of federal funding cuts. So what are the potential impacts on the long-term space program overall, and specifically here along Florida's Space Coast? That is something we were looking into today, and spoke with a former NASA employee and the editor of NASA Watch, Keith Cowing. Spoke with our executive producer, Adam Pressler, today, and here's what he said to kind of put all of this into context for us.
Well, NASA has announced, as part of the overall administration plan to shrink the size of the government, that about 20% of its workforce has agreed to take a buyout and leave the agency. So right off the bat, you have 20% civil servants. Not sure about the contractor workforce, which is many times the size and usually has the greatest economic impact, especially on the Space Coast where you're launching rockets all the time.
Yeah, no doubt that there's a lot of financial, switch up that's happening right now. With those layoffs, what is the impact to NASA? What is the impact to the Space Coast in Florida?
Well, just in your newsroom right there, just take a quarter of the people and tell them to leave. Just like that. Don't really look at what they're doing. That's what NASA did. It's pretty much, if you had a pulse, they wanted you to take a buyout. And so, here you come in the next day to your studio with a quarter of your people gone. And you're figuring out, well, all right, how do we put this back together? That's pretty much what happened at NASA. And, they don't really have a plan for where to move on to next, except they want to go to Mars sooner than they had planned and beat China and do all this other stuff. And by the way, their budget's getting cut. So you tell me.
That's the question. I mean, you have these plans, you have these dreams of an ISS being taken down, likely being replaced in the next 15 years. You want to go to Mars, but you are cutting the budget. So what's got to give here? What do you think? What do you think, gets cut first? Now that
I'm lazy. I always think of that movie, Jerry Maguire, Show Me the Money. I mean, that's what it all comes down to, and people think that, there's a issue of why we do stuff in space and so forth. Well, that's an old argument. I've been hearing it in all my life, and I'll be 70 soon. Okay. So put that aside. The dollars that come home from somebody working at the Cape are the exact same color as they are from anybody doing anything else. So at the end of the day, it's about our economy and what we think is important and what we invest in. And, luckily with the Space Coast, you guys will probably be launching rockets no matter what. But if you start to cut the satellites that are being built elsewhere, fewer rockets. If they cut back on the moon program, fewer rockets. So although there may not be an immediate impact, long term, especially for the commercial space folks who are looking to launch more of these satellites, there's going to be a trickle-down effect. Everybody is affected in the space sector sooner or later.
Looking at the idea of going private, we've seen SpaceX doing quite well for itself, that it's a private entity owned by Elon. It's not, a part of NASA, which is under the federal budget. Do you think that's where space goes? Is that the future of, the next frontier is private space travel?
Well, again, it comes down to the financial aspect of it. In terms of launching communication satellites, Starlink, that's really not dependent on NASA or any other government agency. That's a small part of the bigger picture. There won't be any, for example, if you cut back the space station and you don't replace it, well, we're not going to be buying launches to send people to the space station. That's a lot of money. We may not be launching more pieces of a new space station, more money. And a lot of the probes that go to other planets and to study the Earth, if you don't launch those, and they're paid for by the government, these aren't things that the private sector just does on their own, you have fewer launches. So the biggest customer right now for SpaceX or for any of these other companies is either NASA or the Department of Defense or both.
Yeah, but it happened in June.
Thinking about,
Looking for more information.
where we go from here, what is the, maybe, let me think about how I want to phrase this. What is, What does this mean for exploration? Does this limit our ability to go into space?
Well, if the interesting thing now about some of these companies is you've got Elon Musk and so forth who have more money to play with than some nations have for their space programs. They read a lot of science fiction when they were growing up, and they don't know any better than to try and make it real. And if you just look at what Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos have done, they're making it real. But there comes a point at which their own dreams and aspirations may not be enough to, fund the whole thing and to get all the other pieces together. So there's a limit so far. In terms of America as a nation going somewhere, if you cut the budget, and then of course the weird thing is we're supposed to be beating China to Mars. So you'd think, oh well, we want to, get our space agency with the best people and the biggest budget and the best plans. No, we're doing the exact opposite. So to answer your question, this is kind of the opposite of what you do if you really want to be a, big player and continue to lead the way into outer space. So Congress is going back and forth on the budget. This hasn't settled out yet. It's like a reality show turning next week, and we'll see what the next, pendulum swings which way and who's going to get cut, who's going to get funded.
We'll wrap up with this one. Obviously, this is driven by the administration. Budget changes all the time depending on who's in office and all that. Do you think that there's a return to adding more money back into NASA? I mean, we've seen the ebbs and flows of it, or do we have to maybe wait for a new administration?
Well, the Senate and the House have both come back with numbers for NASA, which are much higher than what the administration had put forth. So there'll be that back and forth, but this administration is using rescission and a whole bunch of other tricks to sort of, play the game of 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 1 step forward. So you really can't figure out where you're going to be. And that's the problem. NASA has the budget it was supposed to get, the budget that the White House wants to give it, the budgets that Congress seems to want to give it. And we're coming up to the end of the fiscal year, and you got to make a lot of decisions. And they've got 3 or 4 budgets that they're all working to at the same time. Imagine your home finance. If you don't know what your income's going to be, are we going to buy a new car? Going to send the kid to college? We don't know. And it's just a magnification of that. How do you plan to explore the universe when you don't know what your resources are and you don't know what your budget is? And all you've got is rhetoric, hot air fueling the whole discussion.
And questions that right now may not know the answer to, and we'll see as time goes on. We're going to take a break here on Fox 35 News Plus, but we'll be right back after this.
watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Welcome back into Fox 35 News Plus. I'm Garrett Wymer, and thanks for joining us on this Monday afternoon. It is the first day of 11-on-11 full pads at NFL training camps. It is that time of year. A lot of excitement as we're getting closer to, first of all, preseason games, regular season games. It is just about a football season. We heard today from the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Todd Bowles, giving an injury update on several players, including rookie linebacker David Walker, who's out for the season with a torn ACL, so not great news there. But they also talked about how players are dealing with this heat. We've talked a lot about it today, talked about it last week leading up to this weekend as well. It's something that these players are having to deal with. And so how are they dealing with that as things ramp up and now you start putting on full pads as well? Here is Todd Bowles speaking to the media earlier today from camp.
Keaton was out the second day today. Is he dealing with anything in particular? Is it being rested?
There's a few guys that tweaked their hamstring, and we're just being cautious and holding out for a little bit.
Coach, there are reports that David Walker suffered a torn ACL and he's out for the season. Just your thoughts on losing him?
Oh, that's correct. He was making a big impact early. Obviously, we were counting on him to do a lot of things, but we got other guys that have to step up, and I told him he has to look at this as a redshirt year, and it's unfortunate. Didn't look like it was too much on film, but it ended up being that.
Coach, how do you think the team handled its first day out there in pads?
I thought mentally they were fine. They came to practice. I thought they finished great. We got to execute better. You know, mentally they handled it fine. The competition was great. We just got to execute better in pads.
How do you think? Obviously, it's hot here in July, but to see record temperatures here in Tampa, it seems like the guys have handled it well. Is there anything you've done to tweak the schedule or lessen the impact of that?
No, I think they had a good off season. A lot of those guys came in and worked out in the heat, and they were really prepared for what's coming this summer, and they understand it and they expect it, and they came in ready for it.
Coach, how much Baker was off today? Was that just hard gripping the ball in this humidity and heat? More issue?
It's a little bit of both between the route combinations and being on the same page, and a little bit up front with the offensive line, getting on the same page and just continuing to build chemistry.
Coach, you mentioned yesterday you were impressed with Kendall Bildor and his skill set. Talk a little bit more about what he brings to the secondary.
He takes very little reps. He takes great notes. He understands it one time when you tell him. He can play either side. He can play nickel. He'll be valuable on teams, hopefully. And, you know, to have a guy that's a jack of all trades and do that, you know, it's important for him trying to make the team, and he does a lot of those things. He does everything right. You don't ever notice him making a big splash, but when you look up, he's always in the right place, and that's important.
Coach, another guy with that versatility is Christian Izzy, and made a couple plays out here today. Just how valuable is he to your defense?
Oh, Izzy's valuable. He's going to be here. You know, I could say he made the team. You know, I could tell you he made the team. He does so many things well for us, and he's a football player. He comes to practice, he comes to play. You see the same guy every day, and he just loves to play, and the guys love him, so he's been great for the defense.
Mind that, like, literally in the middle of a game last year, he had to line up at outside corner, something he hadn't done since probably high school. Actually, that's what he said, yeah, high school. Just for a guy to step in in really adverse moments and make so many contributions.
It was impressive that he didn't flinch when he did it. You know, I'm sure there was some technique things he can work on, but he didn't flinch when he did it. It's like whatever you need, Coach, and he went in and he made some plays.
Coach, how anxious are you to see Elijah have a full season and not start the GA ball? What would that do for him? How disruptive was that the last 2 years?
It'd be great for him to start the season and not miss any time. The past 2 years, I think he missed 5 games apiece and still came back and played. We're monitoring that every day. Obviously, can't put a handle on it. He's feeling great right now. So as time goes forward, we just got to make sure we continue to monitor the things he does and how he gets warmed up and everything else, and that it doesn't boil over into that. So that'll be very important for us.
Sua Opeta is coming back from a major surgery, but to see him in street close still, do you know how far away he is from being able to start practicing?
Well, he's had some setbacks, so that's kind of set him back some. So I don't know how far away he is from practicing, and, you know, he had some setbacks along the way.
Coach, first impression is, I know it's day one in pads of Charlie Heck, how he handled pass protection today.
He was competitive. Charlie, he's competitive. He has very good feet. Technique's going to take some time to get down in pads. He has some good one-on-one reps. Be interested to go back and see the tape and see how he played with the team drills.
Hassan Reddick looked to you today on first day of pads?
He looked great. I mean, he's quick, he's fast, he's very smart. He gets it. He's in great shape right now, and he's in a good place.
Injury, quarterback, or whatever you're dealing with. And Trask had another rough day today. I know it's just short-term pads today, but it's just practice. Do you feel like you need a veteran quarterback in here to get a little deeper at the position?
We've been talking about bringing in another arm. It's just bringing in the right version of that arm that we want to bring in, and it's been talked about whether it was off days or no off days, whether it's Baker, Trask, it didn't matter. You know, with Pratt down, we feel like we probably need another arm, and so we're working on that.
Arm, or is it a veteran arm?
We'll see.
You look big picture so early. What are the checkpoints? How do you evaluate where you guys are before you get the preseason game?
It's more of a mental thing, you know, as far as penalties are concerned, technique is concerned, and fundamentals. That's really what you want to get down in camp, as well as the chemistry and the guys being around each other and understanding each other. If you can get that part down going into preseason, you have a pretty good feel for your team.
You had a night practice schedule. Aside from maybe getting them out of intensity, what benefits from going to the stadium?
I'm sorry.
What benefits from going over to the stadium at night do you get for a night practice?
So things starting to gear up at NFL training camp, an exciting time of year. We appreciate you joining us this afternoon here on Fox 35 News Plus. I'm Garrett Wymer. I want to let you know we're here every day, 11 a.m., 2 p.m., and 4 p.m. and other times as news breaks. Stay tuned for Fox 35 News at 5, which begins in about 30